Hi guys, TotallyDubbed here, and today I'm doing a very exciting review on the HiFiMan Deva. Now these headphones can be found for £300 in the UK or $300 in the US. If you live in these territories or indeed elsewhere, the locally link will take you to your localized Amazon store. Now why am I excited? Well, these are over-the-ear, open back, planar magnetic, Bluetooth headphones at that price tag. Mind-blowing. So let's see what it's all about. So first off, let's talk about the build quality and design, what you get in the box and in terms of the features. So we'll get onto the headphones in a little bit, but first let's see what you get in the box. Well, you've got a 3.5mm jack to 1/4" jack, which is pretty normal. Then you've got the Blue Mini adapter, which basically switches these headphones via 3.5mm jack into Bluetooth headphones. I'll get into the functionality in just a bit. Then you've got the manual, which is actually quite nice because you've got a little bit of a background of the headphones, a little note from the founder, and also how to actually use them. You might want to consider that, and we'll get into codecs in just a bit. And then you've got 2 cables included. Why 2? Well, aside from actually being Bluetooth headphones via this adapter, they also support a digital input via USB Type-C, and that's via this adapter over here, and they also support an analog input via 3.5mm jack, like so. So therefore they can be used as regular headphones or wireless, or if you want that digital input, then you can do so. Now a note on the cables: although I do like the length of the cables, I do not like the quality of them. It reminds me of the old school Denon AHD-2000 cables. If you are aware of those, then you'll know what I mean. These cables kind of kink, and I feel that over time, I feel they'll fray after a while. I'm not quite a big fan of them, and they do produce a little bit of microphonics as well. Not a fan, but the fact that they are included is fantastic. Now a little note on terms of the digital inputs. What you want to ensure is that the Blue Mini is connected via USB Type-C, that the USB Type-A is connected to your PC, and then that you switch it on. The reason why you want to do this chain is because if you don't do it this way, in other words, if you have the Blue Mini on already and then plug it in, it's not going to properly register it. At least in my case, I found that my Windows 10 machine struggled with that, but once it was connected and then I switched it on, it would pick it up instantaneously. And now let's move on to the Blue Mini device. Now it's quite simple. All it requires you to do is to plug it into the headphones. So you can see it has a somewhat dongle type of design, and therefore might not look as appealing as those headphones which are kind of built-in Bluetooth. But at the compromise of this, it means that these headphones have got a multitude of different connectors and also don't compromise in terms of audio quality. So I don't really mind this, and specifically given the headphones are going to be used in and around the house, I don't think you're going to care all that much as to how they look like. But with or without this little dongle, I think the design of the headphones is really well done. Now I'll get into the comfort in just a bit, because I want to first talk about this Blue Mini device. Now the Blue Mini device gives you Bluetooth capabilities, and it's very simple to operate. There's an on and off button over here, and that switches it on, and then my phone's off in terms right now, but if it was on, it will connect instantaneously. Now the beauty of this is the codec support. As a very much like a hi-fi product, this supports all the major codecs that you're going to need. In this case, it supports the LDAC codec, it supports the aptX HD codec, and the Qualcomm aptX codec as well. And if for some reason all these codecs don't work, you can revert to the lower quality SBC codec as well. What I'm trying to say over here is that these Bluetooth codecs are fantastic, and it's a great sign that HiFiMan has integrated that in this Blue Mini device. So in other words, you're not going to be compromising overly in terms of audio quality, but I will touch upon the Bluetooth versus digital versus analog connection in a bit in my sound quality section. Now in terms of operation from Bluetooth, all you've really got is play, pause, and answer and reject calls. That is it. There's no skip, there's no previous button, there's no volume adjust or anything like that. So it's a little bit somewhat primitive, but in essence, in terms of a Bluetooth device, I think it will suffice given this headphone's price tag and given how it's actually designed. Now another important thing when it comes to Bluetooth headphones is the actual battery life. This little dongle over here will last around 7 to 10 hours depending on the volume that you play at, and from my test it pretty much was bang on. In terms of charging it, it takes around 1 to 2 hours, so it's worth bearing that in mind. And yes, it can charge via the USB Type-C connector over here. Now with the dongle aside, let's talk about the actual headphones build quality, because it's actually actually quite impressive. At this price point, I'm very impressed to see how the headphones not only look, but also how they feel on the head and of course off the head. Now in this respect, what I do like about the headphones is that the headphones are extremely comfortable to wear, and it's something very important for me because often people won't comment on terms of the clamp force, nor will they comment on terms of how it is to wear with glasses on. For someone like myself who wears reading glasses in front of the computer, I must say these pads are super soft and therefore don't cause any sort of discomfort. In terms of the top headband, it's pretty soft. It's a little bit more on the hard side, but unlike, let's say, the HiFiMan Sundara, which I've got over here, it doesn't have this sort of suspended design, so therefore it doesn't feel as light on the head. But still, it is an extremely kind of floaty device around the ears and really does feel comfortable. It is worth noting that if you're going to be doing any sort of exercise in and around the house, or for some reason you're going to take them on the go, then you will find that these headphones clamp force is so weak that if you shake your head a little bit, they will fall off pretty instantaneously. In terms of adjustment, I do like the fact that the headphones have got a pretty large adjustment, and also the fact that the cups themselves swivel a little bit in order to cater for different size or different shapes of head. And finally, to conclude the comfort section, I do want to mention these headphones weigh 360 grams. That's a little bit lighter than the Sundara, which weigh 372 grams. So as I said before, they will feel a little bit lighter and somewhat completely like airy in around your ears. So now we get on to the most important part, the sound quality. Now before I get into the sound frequencies of these headphones, I do want to touch upon the actual different connectivity options, and in this case, how it actually impacts the sound quality. So without the Blue Mini connected directly via analog to my Cord Yugo 2, these headphones really excelled. And here I was able to directly compare them to the HiFiMan Sundara and my favorite closed back headphones, my custom modded Denon headphones. And in this respect, these headphones really did excel. In my case, I found that the wired connection, the analog connection, produced the best sort of sound. But granted, not everyone has access to a 1,800 pound DAC, and truthfully, why would you have a 1,800 pound DAC when you've got 300 pound headphones? Good question. So, forget 3.5mm analog connection, let's talk about digital, because that is included with these headphones and indeed can be used in any scenario. And this is where I really like, and kind of what I really appreciate that HiFiMan have done. Because if you don't have that expensive DAC, if you don't have a good sound card in your PC, or you don't have good onboard audio from your laptop, or even your phone, you can plug them via USB Type-C to USB Type-A. And therefore allows you to have 24-bit 192 available with your headphones. And in this respect, the HiFiMan do really well. Now, it is fair for me to assess the sound quality over a wired connection, but ultimately these are Bluetooth headphones. You've got to kind of judge them over Bluetooth, right? Well, in this case, the LDAC codec comes in going, hey guys, I'm over here, I've got fantastic sampling rates, check me out. Well, LDAC, hello, fantastic, love it. Again, HiFiMan have thought about this, thought, hey, if there's audiophiles looking to buy these headphones, let's include LDAC in there. Hey, if they don't have LDAC, they don't have Android, let's go aptX HD. Not aptX HD, let's go aptX. And hell, if you want for it and you really have to, SBC codec is there for you to use. In this respect, over the LDAC codec, which is the codec that I tested it at, which I feel is the fairest codec to test these sort of headphones at with my Android phone, these headphones excel. So now let's break it down into the overall sound frequencies. Now first off, the sub bass. Now, truthfully, they don't compete with these closed back headphones. My Denon AHD2000s, which frankly they're not D2000s anymore, they don't compete because that low end rumble, that meatiness that you want to hear isn't quite present with these headphones. So then I compared them to somewhat the bass-light HiFiMan Sundara, which remember, these are more expensive headphones than the Deva. Then the Deva sounded somewhat capable. They had that low end rumble of such, but it did cut off. So just bear that in mind. If you really like that low end rumble, these headphones might not be the best pick for you. But then we move into the mid bass frequency. And here, these headphones had a nice controlled slam and was really much precise. In other words, they didn't sound uncontrolled like some of the headphones out there. Let's think of, let's say, the Sony WH-1000XM3s, which sounds kind of wobbly. Neither did they sound too light in comparison to, let's say, the Bose NC700 headphones. And neither did they sound kind of tame in comparison to, let's say, the HiFiMan Sundara. They just had the good sort of blend in terms of their mid-bass response. And here I must say I was impressed. Again, if you're really bass head, then you're probably never going to like open back headphones, no matter their cost. And in this respect, closed back headphones would be the only way to go. In the mid-range response, I did feel that these were slightly pushed back and slightly warm sounding. That's not a bad thing, and by far they're not as warm sounding as these closed back headphones, but they do not sound as open and as rich in the mid-range response as the HiFiMan Sundara. In this respect, the HiFiMan Deva do a good job overall in the mid-range in terms of producing a good accurate sound, but they don't produce that more forward-sounding sound that you might expect from, let's say, a Sennheiser HD660S, for example. And then when it comes to their highs, this is where I felt the headphones really did excel, because they provide that sparkle and that high-end extension, but it didn't sound overly sibilant, and neither did they roll off too much. Here they were pretty much comparable to the HiFiMan Sundara. They had a nice sort of sleeky sound at the top end, gives you that toe-tapping sound that you want, that exciting sound, but doesn't cause that harshness in your ears. So overall, here the highs were really good. And the pièce de résistance, as the French would say, was the soundstage. I was blown away, truthfully. Now, these are open back headphones, so kind of obviously you're going to expect that kind of airy sound, but not all open back headphones do a fantastic job here. In this case, the HiFiMan Deva excel, shall I say. They've got a good instrument separation, a good width, a good depth, fantastic imaging, and truthfully, when I was comparing to the HiFiMan Sundara, it was hard to pick in terms of which one I preferred in terms of the overall soundstage. To be honest with you, I pretty much class them in the same sort of category, which is high praise for the Deva, because the Sundara are its more expensive brothers, let's say. So on the whole, what do I make about the sound quality? Well, it should be pretty obvious, to be honest with you. I find these absolutely spectacular. I'm just genuinely blown away as to how good these headphones sound. The overall sound frequency, the overall sound signature, and just generally the way that the HiFiMan Deva approach every sort of aspect of sound is phenomenal. And so much so that it was quite hard comparing to the Sundara. I did pick out some differences, but that was listing with a Chord Hugo 2 DAC plugged in and basically A/B testing constantly. And that's only where I could hear the differences. And that's somewhat of a testament of how good these £300, $300 headphones do. And this is pretty much my verdict. If you're looking for wired, be it analog or digital headphones, or you want Bluetooth with LDAC compatibility, aptX HD or aptX or even SBC, you shouldn't look any further than the HiFiMan Deva. They are absolutely phenomenal. They are the best £300, $300 headphones I've ever come across. And that's high praise from someone like me who's heard over 500 audio-related devices and normally grills headphones in some respect. I can't find a sonic flaw with these headphones at their price range. They blow every Bluetooth headphone I've heard out the water, like with ease, and then they compete with wired headphones and give them a run for the money, if not beat them in some respect. Madness! Yeah, that's my verdict. Like, go out and buy them. Like, what are you waiting for? Anyway, this is not sponsored. This is not a paid review. This is my honest opinion. I probably have to send these back, and I'm going to be crying when I send these back, because the next headphones I get and I compare them to Bluetooth headphones, I'm going to be like, yeah, go get the Deva instead. So yeah, that's my verdict. Get the HiFiMan Deva if you're in the market for £300, $300 headphones. That is it. Nothing more to say. If you like this video, you like to see more honest content, like the video, subscribe, favorite and share, and yeah, mind blown.